And we are live. What's up, everybody? This is Francis over here from P Nintendo, Playeressence.com, Playeressence Gaming, and we have our first ever live show of Playeressence Cross Nintendo. With not only is it the first ever live show of it, but we also have guests. We have special guests here, and first I want to introduce Terminator Juice. You guys all know him. He's probably the realest dude on YouTube. I think that's going to be his moniker, the realest dude on YouTube.
I don't
Big,
know about that.
he's the realest dude on YouTube, man. No, that's what that's what I'm gonna say about you. We got
Well,
Terminator Juice here. How's it going, man?
all right. How's it going? I'm very happy to be here. Hopefully this will be really cool, and we can maybe do more of these in the future. So,
Oh, definitely, definitely. And not only that, but this is also a first ever. We have a community member. So Playeressence.com is all about not only involving partners that do content, but also involving the community and getting everybody involved. And so we have Galactic Filth here from the PE community from YouTube. How's it going, man?
Pretty cool here, and that's in Mexico, just about average the temperature, and we're going to discuss some games. We're ready.
Nice, nice, definitely. I really appreciate you having you here, Galactic. He reached out to me, and I'm not even going to take the credit. I'm not even going to take the credit for this show. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and give the credit to Terminator Juice because this was his idea to do this live show. He reached out to me, and I'm like, hey, why shouldn't we do a Players Since Cross Nintendo Live? So Terminator Juice gets all the credit. Go subscribe to his channel, not mine. Anyway, so we're gonna go. We have a lot of great talk to talk about, guys. Like a lot of good stuff here. If you guys saw some of my shows before, there is gonna be some rehashing of the topics because Nintendo had that huge press conference, or not press conference, that huge sales briefing, investor meeting, whatever. It's not for us, but some good stuff came out of there. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna break down those one by one. I'm gonna get everybody's opinion, then I'll go in and I'll just barely touch on my opinion because a lot of you guys have heard some of the stuff that I've already said, but it makes for great discussion. So the first thing that we're going to talk about here is the Wii U sales numbers. So Nintendo, they're not scared. They put out their numbers even if they're not selling well. They put out their numbers, and it's been revealed that the Nintendo 3DS, of course, is the main driver. 43.33 million. In a little bit, was it 3 years now? In about 3 years now, 43.33 million. Very good. And the Wii U, not so much, with 6.18 million pretty much in a year and some odd months. This was the physical year ending on March 31st, so pretty much a year and like 4 or 5 months. 6.18 million, not so good, but they've announced some things to kind of turn things around. And before we start discussing those numbers, I'm also going to talk about their forecast too, so we can just get all of that sales stuff wrapped up. So their forecast is actually pretty meager. They are forecasting for the next physical year, so all the way till pretty much next March, they are forecasting an additional like 3.16 million Wii U's sold. So not a lot. And for the 3DS, they're forecasting 12 million. So I'm pretty sure they hit 12 million last year with their forecast, or around there, maybe a little bit more. I remember they forecasted like 18 million. So, and of course they have to slash that down. So now they're being more conservative on both sides. So first we're going to start with Terminator Juice. How do you feel? What are your overall thoughts on Nintendo's sales and their forecast?
well, when I first saw, the 6 million, I kind of been following VG charts. That's not 100% accurate, but actually they were pretty close. So I kind of knew they were around the 6 million, and it's just really a shame after basically a year and a half that that's all that the Wii U has sold. I mean, you're talking Dreamcast was at like 8 after 2 years, so I mean, it's not looking great. The 3DS, 43 million is really, I mean, considering the start it had, I mean, Nintendo's got to be feeling pretty good about that. But the forecast is what really surprised me because we got Mario Kart 8 bundle coming out in a couple weeks. I predicted it in like 2 videos ago that I did that this would push the Wii U to, I think, 8.5 million by the start of winter. So I personally thought Mario Kart 8 alone would sell close to 2 million just until the winter time when the holidays, and then from there, I'd expect close to another 2 million with Smash, and Mario Kart, and now 3D World. They have just a staple of great games. I think they're being, like you said, conservative. It's better to predict low and then do better than it is what they did the year before and have high expectations and then come way short. Then they look pretty stupid in the eyes of the industry and the consumers. So I think they're just playing it safe because, like I said, it's better to do better than you predicted than to do way worse. So, so that's my feelings.
Yeah. Galactic Filth, do you have anything as far as your own impressions or what you thought about that?
Well, I think that it's a pretty good number, but not in this time because we need more sales because it's coming Mario Kart 8, it's coming Super Smash Bros. We're getting Nets, Bayonetta 2. Then we're just struggling right now. It's a pretty good number compared to the numbers of Xbox One and PlayStation 4. But the Wii U has been out for more time, like almost 2 years now, and they've only been out like for 6 months. So they really need to make something right there. I think it's cool that they're making that stuff with the Mario Kart 8, that they're giving you free Pikmin 3, Wii Party U, and they sell the game. But I think they need to improve on that and make more games, more than that, like more variety RPGs and some other stuff that is missing from the Wii U.
Okay, yeah, I definitely agree. The forecast is it's definitely conservative, like Terminator Juice said. They're trying to, because here's the thing, guys. Like, they have Hyrule Warriors, they have all these games coming, Mario Kart, they have so much stuff, yet they're only forecasting 3 million. It's obviously a conservative pick. So I definitely think that it's conservative, but at the same time, they're looking to. They're definitely looking to sell more than that, and we'll see. We'll see when it all comes down to it, Yeah, no problem. We'll continue with the show. Terminator. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move on to Nintendo's NFP thoughts.
Okay.
What do you think? So, just for those who don't know, Nintendo announced basically a whole new figurine business model where you're going to be able to get these Mario figurines and different type of figurines, and you're going to be able to put them on your Wii U gamepad, and you're going to be able to transfer content or stuff to different games. But the really cool thing about this is that one figurine will actually work for multiple games. So it's not like Skylanders where that one figurine only works for that Skylanders franchise. So your one Mario figurine could work maybe for 3 different separate games or other types of titles, or maybe even more. Nintendo hasn't went into more details about it. So that's what the NFP stands for. It's Nintendo Figurine Platform, or NFC Platform, whatever. So I'm not a huge Skylanders guy, but you guys have heard my opinion on it. I think it's kind of cool, especially if you get one that works for multiple games. Terminator Juice, what's your opinion on the whole NFP platform, and as far as what do you think from a business sense, and what do you think from just a personal sense?
Well, when I first heard it, I was kind of questioning it, but now that I've had more time to think about it, now what we don't know is if at E3 they're going to show a game that's like, they're going to have a game that's going to be the foundation for the figurines, like something that we have no idea. Let's say they come out with a game that's really utilizes them, but then also the figurines work with Mario Kart 8 to unlock maybe something that they'll add in the future, or Smash Brothers, or Zelda, next year. So if they just have the figurines and they just kind of unlock stuff in games, I think that would be a missed opportunity. I think they're going to have like a main, like I said, like a foundation, like a game or software, maybe download only, to like maybe have your collection or something that's more than just a little addition to a game here or there. I think if they combine it with maybe a compelling software that's a $20 download or something, like that would be cool. And for them financially, I think it's a good move because I have a 10-year-old nephew, and he's got like 15 Skylanders figurines, and it's definitely something kids get their parents if kids want them, they tell their parents, and their parents will buy it for them for Christmases and birthdays. And if they're making a little bit of money on each figurine, I think it definitely would help for them to meet their profits and stuff, that kind of dig themselves out of the hole that they've been in the last couple of years. I think it's a smart move. And me personally, if the figurines are really high quality, like you said a couple of days ago, I'll buy a couple just for a collector's item. And I think it's a cool thing, and hopefully they handle it the right way, and don't try to milk people of their money from it. So that's kind of my thoughts.
Okay. I'm glad to Phil. What do you think about the whole Nintendo NFP figurines, as far as like the Skylanders type stuff, or do you think from a business sense and from a personal sense, are you interested in this type of stuff?
Somewhat interested. I think it is cool to have those little figurines if they're good quality, if they are appealing to us, if they have cool features, like, let's say, a Mario game that you unlock more characters, like extra content, over a big game. We don't want like DLC stuff, like you get half the game and the other game gets unlocked with those figurines. We need a pretty big game, and then if they want to add up on that, they can use the figurines to make some solid content on the Wii U. If they do that and also link that with the 3DS, that would be spectacular. That's what Nintendo needs right now. They need to link the 3DS and the Wii U and those figurines.
That's a good point.
Yeah, very good point.
We need that right now for the Wii U to succeed this year. But the Smash Bros. And 3DS and the Wii U looking pretty good as of now.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? You brought up a really good point that we didn't bring up. Nintendo, they really need to link that 3DS, and you're right. I mean, if they can have this NFP, which is coming to the 3DS as well, I forgot to mention that. It's going to have like a little dongle attachment where it's wireless, where you can beam stuff to your 3DS. I mean, I think what could be really cool for this, so like let's say you have this Mario figurine, and you guys know, like let's say the Mario Golf World Tour DLC. What if it unlocks some of the content and stuff like that, or like that's just giving an example, of like DLC in some games that people usually pay for that's separate from the game. If you have this Mario figurine, it might unlock some of that content too. So I think there's a variety of ways Nintendo could tackle this. And yeah, like Galactic Filth said, linking stuff between the 3DS and Wii U is pretty much a given at this point. And I'm pretty sure Nintendo's kicking themselves for not thinking more forward ahead as far as the 3DS and the Wii U not being systems that were more compatible with each other in the first place. Yeah, because they're not really compatible at all. I mean, at this point, the Wii and the DS actually had more games that did linking and certain types of content together. I mean, really, we've only had one, which was
Monster Hunter.
Yeah, Monster Hunter. Other than that, there really hasn't been much. I mean, we have Smash Bros. Coming up, so that's good. That's a great place to really get going, But I'm pretty sure Nintendo's next system is going to be a unified platform to where you can either buy both of them in a bundle, and or you can just buy each of them separately, but they're pretty much, flat. Like Iwata said it, flat iOS, we're same operating system,
Yeah, because like even the GameCube and Game Boy Advance had better connectivity. It was wired, but
it was wired, but they had more. You're right. They had more, and it was better.
Metroid Prime, Metroid Fusion, it unlocked different costumes if you had both games, and that's what they could do between the 3DS and Wii U. Is it could be, I don't know if the figurines are going to be able to like any data go to them, or if it's just a read-only thing. I'm not sure.
It's both.
Because then it could say, all right, you hooked it up to your Wii U, or you scanned it, and it says, all right, you have this game on the Wii U. Then you hook it up, whatever you do, you connect it to the 3DS, and it says, oh, you have Smash Brothers on the Wii U, you have it on the 3DS. We're going to give you a little something for having both versions, or something that it could unlock that way. But the thing about the 3DS, though, it's once they put Miiverse on it, you could really tell that system was not. They didn't have that intended, because the Miiverse is so slow on the 3DS. You could tell that they weren't thinking ahead, like you said. They really missed an opportunity with that.
Let me ask something to Galactic Filth. Galactic Filth, how long does it take you to boot up Miiverse on the 3DS? Have you ever done it before?
I don't think so.
It's
I'm
like
telling
2 minutes at least.
it is like the slowest, and then once you're on there, it is like so blocked. It reminds me of like the Nokia phones. Remember when we were kids, or when teenagers, when people had those Nokia phones that can first go online, those bricks? Reminds me of getting online and trying to play like Tetris or Snake. Remember when we used to play Snake?
Oh, the Snake.
Yeah.
What about playing 2K Sports on your Dreamcast with dial-up? That's
Oh yeah. I think that might have been a little bit faster than me.
I think you're right.
Yeah, but I remember playing 2K on the Dreamcast online. Man, it was like Allen Iverson was dribbling like in 15 frames a second, bro. It was difficult, but back then you were just happy to be playing online. It was.
Oh yeah. Well, actually, my first username, my first YouTube name was DreamCube09 because I loved the Dreamcast and the GameCube were my two favorite systems at the time. So that was like my first YouTube name.
Yeah. Well, I mean. Getting back to what Nintendo needs to do, but trust me, those funny type of outbreaks like that are good, good for the show. Pretty sure a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, I remember playing online with the Dreamcast. Yeah, it sucked." Although some games were good though. Some games were good. The Mr. Driller, I think it was like a Mr. Driller game. I forgot what. There was some type of puzzle game that was online. I played that a lot. I don't remember, but yeah. But yeah, hopefully Nintendo can. In the future, do a little bit better with this NFP thing and integrate the two, and overall they can just get things back on track. But here's the thing. Here's the cool thing. Just kind of more wrapping up this whole thing. I think one of the best things about this whole NFP and this whole their forecast is that the Wii U, which I want to talk to you guys about this a little bit, is finally being sold at a pretty much profit. No more loss on the hardware. They didn't announce whether it's going to be how much of a profit it is. I'm thinking it's probably like a slight profit, maybe anywhere between $10 or more, $50, maybe somewhere in that range. So that's the great thing. So even if the sales are low, at least they're profiting, and at least they have the 3DS. Because the biggest issue in the past was the fact that they weren't. Not only was the Wii U not selling, but it wasn't a profitable platform. It was being sold at a loss. So the parts have gotten cheaper, and now they're back to profitability on the hardware. So Galactic Phil, if you want to go ahead and discuss that a little bit, or your thoughts on the Wii U actually being sold on a profit now?
I think that they're making some profit from the very beginning. They told us that they were not making profit, but as long as we bought like 1 or 2 games, they were getting some bucks from there. So it's good to know that right now they are making profit for every Wii U they're selling, because they lost some money, but as you told us before, it was because they were making an investment in like new software, new companies, and going for more people to join their groups and make new software. So I think that the Wii U's losing some money in the beginning, but right now everything that comes from the Wii U will be profits, and that's good for us. For the consumers, because we're getting more games from that money they're getting there.
Yeah, just so everybody knows that are watching, what Galactic Filth was talking about. If you didn't see it, Nintendo did record a loss, but at the same time, like they were spending a lot of money. Nintendo spent $150 million on, I think, quality of life tech. They also spent millions on building new buildings for Retro Studios. Got a new building within the past 2 years. Intelligent Systems got a new building. They got a new building for their R&D teams. For their they intertwined or integrated their handheld and console R&D, and that's probably the biggest giveaway that their next system is unified. So they actually combined their R&D units, and they got them a new building. So Nintendo's been spending money, and then all that they've been hiring. If you looked at Nintendo's what's it called? Their hiring pages. Nintendo's been hiring like crazy. Retro, Monolith Soft, or all of these studios have been hiring. So Nintendo's been paying people. Nintendo's been hiring. They've been making buildings. So that's another reason why that factored into their loss a little bit too. But it looks like all of that is done. It looks like they have enough people to get what they need going. So that's really cool. But So yeah, that's pretty much that on that. We're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to some of the topics that Terminator Juice was talking about earlier that we talked about before the show started, and I think these are important, especially for people who like to download their games digital. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the Mario Kart 8's file size and the file size of it, and I want to go ahead and give it away to Terminator Juice just so we can discuss that a little bit and your thoughts on exactly how small it is, because I think from what my understanding, it's under 5 gigabytes, right?
Yeah, it basically came out once the review copies went out. People were showing, the download size. It's 4.9 gigs rounded up. It's like 4.8 and some change. It just shows you that Nintendo, they're not going to give us a 32 gigs of internal memory and then put out a game that takes 20 gigs. They're conscious of the limited memory in the Wii U, and they're doing their best to try to keep the file sizes small. I think Donkey Kong Country was the biggest of all the first-party Nintendo titles at like 6-7 gigs or whatever it was.
11.
Was it 11? Okay.
Yeah, it was 11 because the uncompressed music is what made it from David Wise, the uncompressed music.
And it had a little bit of video, like the opening cutscene and stuff.
Yeah, and the ending cutscene.
So for anyone that doesn't have a Wii U, or if you get the 32 gig, they're pretty good. Like Mario 3D World was like 2 gigs.
1.7.
Yeah.
1.7.
I think I think it had maybe one update. I don't even think it was a day one update. Yeah, it was right around that. Pikmin was 3 something.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the one thing that they keep doing this, and I don't know, I'm not a technical guy like that. I don't know if it affects anything the way they compress their games. It doesn't seem to have an impact on the visuals or anything, but like you said, Donkey Kong had some really great music. I just hope that they don't, at some point, people are going to run out of space no matter what size these games are. If you have a 32 gig with no external and you download games, at some point you're going to run out of space. So I think it's good because it's quick down. It speeds up the download. A smaller file size obviously takes less time to download, and it takes up less space. But at some point, the space isn't going to be an issue because you're going to eventually run out. Because I have 5 games downloaded retail, like big games, and then a bunch of indie games and all the virtual consoles. So I was out of memory. I had to get the external. So I think it's good that they're doing it, but at some point they might as well just put the game out in all its glory, like they did for Donkey Kong, and give us the uncompressed audio so we have the best audio and video experience. So I doubt this will affect Mario Kart 8. It seems like the visuals and the music everyone's raving about. So I don't know how they do it, but at some point I don't think they're going to need to keep doing it. They have 25 gigs available on the Blu-ray discs that they have, and at some point I think they're going to have to just make the games bigger and maybe not sacrifice some stuff. So that's just kind of my take on it. It's good, but it's also, I think they're going to have to, or they won't have to keep doing it once 2 years from now when there's so many games that people are going to need an external anyway. So and I'm a big audio guy. I have a couple different surround sound setups in my house, so I'd rather have a bigger file size and have the best audio possible. But that's just me. I know everybody's not like that, so that's just
yeah. Well, you're definitely right about that. I mean, they are doing some technical wizardry with Super Mario Galaxy, or not Galaxy, Super Mario 3D World. There's no way that they didn't compress those music files for as much music that's in that game, and to only have 1.7 gigabytes. There's some crazy compression going on. It still sounds really good, but man, what if it was uncompressed?
I know, because the louder you turn it up, you can start to hear where its limits are for the compression. And like in comparison, Call of Duty on the disc, because you can't download them. I'm guessing they're pretty big file size. On the Wii U, like Call of Duty Black Ops 2, I have the Xbox 360 version and I have the Wii U version, both through HDMI into a 5.1 setup. And the Wii U version sounds noticeably better than the 360 version. And it's like, I wish more games did that, but at the same time, I appreciate that they're not just screwing over the customers and giving these huge file sizes, like some of the competition does with some of their games, 40, 50 gigs for one game. So, I mean, I do appreciate it for the people that don't care as much about the quality of the music and stuff. So.
Yeah. Galactic Filth, what do you, as far as the file size for Mario Kart 8, let me, or more, we should talk about, how do you purchase your games? Do you buy them physically, or do you buy them on the eShop?
To be honest, I buy them all on the GameStop, even though I know they are not very good.
I hate GameStop.
Well, you don't gotta be ashamed. Okay, look, you don't gotta be ashamed for shopping at GameStop. Okay, there's nothing wrong. I mean, they do some stuff, but they have a pretty. I will admit, they do have a pretty kind of good reward system. The more you spend there, the more, if you just buy your games brand new, you get points, and eventually you'll get that $20 off or $15 off. I mean, and I use that to get Donkey Kong for like $20. So I mean, I don't like GameStop, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I gotta go there.
As long as they don't sell you it new, but they took the plastic off, like they just did to forget who it was.
I remember they tried to do that with me with Prototype. They tried to do that with me on Prototype back in 2009. I went there to go buy Prototype, and he was like, the game was open. I'm like, this game's not new, sir. He's like, oh, well, it's okay. We just it's pretty much new. Sometimes it's called gutting, and I'm like, what? Gutting?
Take the codes out.
Yeah, I'm like, no. I'm like, look, there was a new copy that was on the shelf. I'm like, give me that one. He's like, all right. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, just like real quick, like what I was saying, I've pretty much since Pikmin 3, I download all the Nintendo first party games. I just wanted to throw that in there.
Okay. Yeah, I have a couple. I have Pikmin 3 downloaded. I have Wind Waker HD downloaded, which is pretty small. And I think as far as retail games, that's it. The rest of my games, like, I have a ton of eShop games. Download codes that I've gotten from some developers to do some of my live shows. So yeah, I mean, I think whenever a game is really big, for the most part, like a retail game, I'll go buy it. But if the game is, of course, eShop only, then that's when I buy eShop only. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm kind of like a switch. I mean, I mainly like to get the games physical, though. I just like having a physical copy just for collection purposes. But yeah. I mean,
it's, I'm thinking in the future I may regret having downloaded them someday when the Wii U servers are offline. But like having the disc, you could still play it. So I'm a little torn.
You should still be able to play your game, though, even because you downloaded the game. So
that's true. Yeah. As long as that hard drive doesn't fail on me. Yeah. There's no transferring it to another system. That's the one kicker. That unless Nintendo, I think you have to send it to Nintendo with a new Wii U and have them transfer it, as far as I know. Because as soon as you format a hard drive, it only works with that Wii U.
Oh.
So.
Oh, goodness.
I know. I've done it 5 times now, and I got the 10% back, and it's actually paid for, like, Child of Light and forget what other game. It paid for that, downloading the games with the digital deluxe promotion. They give you 10% back at every $50. So it's got some pros and it's got some cons. So
I've taken advantage of the digital deluxe program. I've gotten enough eShop games to where I got a discount on Pikmin. I remember, and I got a discount on Wind Waker HD. I used like $10 off of Wind Waker HD. So I mean, I like downloading stuff, but at the same time I like physical. But it's good that Mario Kart 8's file size is like that, just for those people that like to download their games and don't want to take too long. But another topic that we want to talk about, more Mario Kart 8 news, is, and make sure real quick, make sure you guys stay tuned. People who are watching live, make sure you stay tuned to the end, because we do have an E3 predictions and what do we expect compared to our predictions and thoughts. So make sure you tune it in there. There's going to be plenty. So keep on watching. But Mario Kart 8 pre-orders. So Terminator Juice, we were talking about this before the show started. Mm-hmm. It looks like Mario Kart 8, based on the VG charts, how they're tracking it. Remember, we already know it's not 100% accurate, but just kind of giving us an idea. And you combine that with the news that Mario Kart 8 is the fastest selling title at the Nintendo World Store as far as pre-orders go. Those are all sold out. And you combine that with Amazon's pretty much worldwide, Mario Kart 8 is the top metric game. You know, it's either #1 or #5 within the top 5 in pretty much every major country. You combine all that, it looks like Mario Kart 8 is going to have some pretty big sales and definitely pass Super Mario 3D World, because Super Mario 3D World didn't do all this, you know. Yeah, Super Mario 3D World was nothing like this. So, Terminator Juice, you want to talk about that a little bit more since you have the numbers?
All right, so yeah, I was checking the VG charts pre-orders for USA only, and they just updated it as of May 3rd. And Mario Kart 8 is at 144,069 pre-orders, puts it #5 on the pre-order list behind Destiny on the Xbox One, PS4, and Watch Dogs on the PS4 and Xbox One. But the significant part is in 1 week alone, just after that Mario Kart 8 Direct, it went up 38,000 pre-orders in 1 week, and previously it was under 10,000 a week. It was slowly building up, and so yeah, that Mario Kart Direct definitely had an impact. And we got to figure Japan is probably going to be about 80% of the U.S. They seem to be a little bit behind percentage-wise on what they buy. How many people buy a game? Like 3D World did 180 or something here, and it did 100,000 in Japan in the first week. So just gives us a kind of a rough idea. Europe's always up in the air because some games do okay, and then some Wii U games do terrible in Europe. So I don't know Mario Kart 8 because they're big into like racing and stuff in Europe. So maybe this game will buck that trend. But yeah, just in the U.S. alone, we're looking at 144,000 just in pre-orders. And Nintendo fans don't always pre-order. Like it's a small percent. It's a very small percentage of Nintendo fans that actually pre-order games. So I think it's mostly due to some of the bundled Mario Kart 8s, like you said, the Nintendo World Store has it with the blue shell. The Europe has a version with the blue shell if you pre-order.
Australia too.
Yeah, those are gonna sell out once they're gone. They're gone for good, just like Legend of Zelda had the little game.
Germany has a Steelbook edition.
Do they?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be really cool. I'd actually pre-order if there was something for us to get. I'm not gonna buy it at the World Store in New York, because I live in Michigan. So I would definitely go physical and pre-order if there was like a really good collector's item or collector's set for the U.S. But I'm torn right now between downloading it and getting the physical copy, and so I wouldn't pre-order it either way, just because I'm still thinking about maybe getting it digitally. So. Yeah, it's looking really good. I mean, people are thinking, obviously Watch Dogs, because on more systems, is going to have big week 1 numbers. Looking at the pre-orders being available on 5 systems, comes out on the 27th. That's going to have pretty big numbers when you add them all together. But I think Mario Kart 8 is going to definitely be the biggest week 1 sales for a Wii U game, and I think that's great.
Okay. Is Galactic Filth, are you still here?
It looks like we might have lost him.
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, yes, I'm back.
Okay, cool. There was like two Galactic Filths at one time. I was like,
we're live, baby.
As I said, it doesn't matter because we're live. That's what this type of stuff that happens when you do stuff live. Okay, Galactic Filth, you can get situated, and I'll go ahead and basically talk really on my thoughts as far as the pre-orders go. You know what? The pre-orders, I think that the thing about Mario Kart, it's actually a much bigger franchise. A lot of people don't realize this because everybody's like, oh, well, I thought Super Mario 3D World was supposed to make Nintendo do really well and all of that stuff. But people have to realize that Mario Kart is a much bigger franchise than Mario, than the actual Mario games, and especially 3D Mario games. And Mario Kart 8 is one of those titles where, like, worldwide, it did really well. It doesn't matter what region you're in, because 3D Mario games don't always do that well in Japan, and in certain other regions, in certain parts of the world, they don't always do that great. I know UK is not necessarily as big on that. France is big, but some countries just aren't as big on 3D Marios or Mario in general. Whereas Mario Kart has always been a worldwide phenomenon, you know, and that's why, like, Phil Spencer, you know, when he was asked about Mario Kart, he kind of like cringed a little bit, because he's like, everybody knows the type of impact Mario Kart has, and Mario Kart's been having for the past, you know, since 1992. You know, every single title, no matter what Nintendo has done, no matter how high or low they've done, Mario Kart always seems to be that universal title that everybody says, you know what, I like this game, you know, or this is pretty fun, you know. So I mean, and it's been like that since the Super Nintendo.
It's a good money maker for them.
Yeah, it's just it's a great game. It's good multiplayer. It's always fun to play the game, and I think that with these pre-orders, it's just showing, with Amazon and everything, it's just showing that this is going to be the game that's going to really help Nintendo. That's really going to help. And personally, just from a gamer standpoint, like, I mean, look at the game. It's awesome. You know, like, the graphics look great. The gameplay, from what I've seen, just looks so tight, looks smooth. The track design. The people talk about Nintendo not having new ideas. That's absolutely ridiculous. You know, maybe some aspects they don't have new ideas, but when it comes to their core games, like, you can tell where the money went to. And when it comes to Mario Kart 8, man, you can just tell this game was made with love and care, and you can just tell that they've really tried really hard on trying to bring new ideas. The anti-gravity stuff is awesome, but not only is it the anti-gravity, but it's the fact that, like, they actually made a whole new, like, strategy or mechanic with the anti-gravity. It's just not like, okay, yeah, look, you can ride on the side of a wall. It's like, okay, we'll hit stuff, bump into each other, you know, not only hit each other, but hit, like, objects, and you'll get a speed boost. So it's layers of depth. It's not only anti-gravity, but it's also layers of depth within that anti-gravity, and it completely turns the game around. You don't usually want to hit anybody when you're racing, you know? Like, you want to steer clear of them, but now it's like, oh, well, when you're anti-gravity, you hit each other. So that creates a whole different dynamic to Mario Kart that we've never seen before, along with the whole anti-gravity. And I want to get Galactic Phil's thoughts on this as far as Mario Kart. And Galactic Phil, I'll ask you a question, then Terminator, I'll move on to you. Do you guys think it's important that Nintendo needs to do DLC for Mario Kart 8? Galactic Phil, do you want to talk about your thoughts on Mario Kart 8 and if they need to do DLC?
Just first, sorry for the laptop. Just about a moment ago, there was connection issues. I didn't expect that to happen, so I went back here.
You don't have to say sorry, man.
We're okay. We're live.
Okay, so I really think that the DLC is not that important on this game, but if they want to add some characters that are missing, like Boo or King Boo, maybe, because I think Boo is pretty slick, so it would be nice to see him in the game. And about new tracks, so maybe some classics from the past games, like the Wii, Mario Kart Wii, GameCube, some Mario Kart 64. And the DLC looks strong on that game, but it's not that important as it will be to, like, RPGs and the next upcoming Super Smash Brothers, maybe Bayonetta 2 for more chapters, but it will be cool to see the DLC on Mario Kart 8 if they can do it. Not first day DLC.
No, okay. Yeah, well, there's plenty of space. I'll tell you that right. Nintendo, they manufacture these big discs. They might as well just use freaking HD DVDs, man.
They might as well stuck to the mini disc.
Well, seriously, I think Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube was bigger than Super Mario 3.
It was.
It might have been, actually. That used 2 mini discs. Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube.
Oh, I have it.
Yeah, that used 2 mini discs. So, I mean, and Tales of Symphonia, that used 2 mini discs as well. Those games might be bigger than Super Mario 3.
So, how's Galactic feeling about the game in general, Mario Kart?
Yeah. How are you feeling about the game as far as the mechanics and stuff like that?
Well, it looks great because it's giving a new twist. When you bump with someone, you always, like, get stunned and stop right there. So until you have, like, 3 seconds before you can move again. But right now in the gravity mode, like, when the truck twists, you can like bump into everything with confidence because you know you will just continue and you even get a boost. So that's a cool new addition to the game, and it looks good on the waterfalls and also in the Star Road. And the Bowser game looks very awesome. Looks gay.
Yeah, definitely. Terminator, as far as like your overall like gameplay impressions from what you've seen from just a purely gameplay standpoint, what is your favorite thing about Mario Kart? What they've done or what they've added?
Well, it's hard to pick one, but it just looks like they put a little more into the actual racing, the mechanics of the racing, with the way the bikes, different bikes handle different karts handle different, the anti-gravity adding that spin boost when you hit other players and objects, and I think it looks a little bit more focused on the racing mechanics, even though the visuals and the sound definitely got a lot of attention as well, but it just looks like a solid racer, even if you take away Mario the franchise, what you come to know, and it just looks like a solid racer. And I'm a huge racing fan, but I get tired of the same old. Like the Forza series just seems to just be the same every time. And as much as people say, oh, this is just another Mario Kart, they all do feel completely different. They control different. They, the items and stuff kind of stay the same. The character roster kind of stays the same, but they just feel like Double Dash felt completely different than Mario Kart 64, and this one just looks to take it to a whole nother level. And it's going to be hard for them to top this in another. I'm sure they'll make another game someday. It's almost like they outdid themselves, and it's going to be hard for them to get, higher than that from this point forward. So, but real quick, the DLC thing, I think everybody...
Just one second.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you like Fire? Do you like Fire Emblem Awakening?
I did not play that. I have a 3DS, and I'm not a huge RPG fan, even though that's got more like strategy. It's more of a strategy RPG. I didn't play it. I hate to say as a Nintendo fan that I didn't play that game, but
when you have the chance.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's all right. He was just asking me if I ever played Fire Emblem and Awakening, and sadly I have not. But I know Francis loves that game, but we don't want to get off topic.
Yeah, sorry about that. Mother's Day over here.
Right.
Over here, my boss.
Everybody that's played Mario Kart 8, that's made previews about it, have all said the same thing. The battle mode tracks, using the tracks from the game, was a bad idea. So the only DLC they really need to do is add battle arenas, like the classic style of battle arenas for battle mode. And I think, knowing Nintendo, they would either do it for free or they would charge very little. It probably takes them a long time to design an actual track when you're talking about the new anti-gravity and stuff. I'm guessing it would take them a long time, a lot of resources to design new tracks. But I think, I'm just guessing here, maybe to get the game out in the time they wanted, they settled on using some of the tracks for the battle mode instead of the battle arenas. So I would really like to see actual battle arenas added in DLC. I would like to see it before the end of the year. I think that would be a smart move to really complete the game, because that seems to be the only complaint people are saying is the battle mode's really boring because you hardly ever see anybody because it's just a full-size track instead of like a confined arena dedicated for that mode. So that's what I would like to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Overall, like I said, I agree with all of you guys' points. Like Mario Kart 8 just looks so cool. It looks so cool. It looks a step above, I think, Super Mario 3D World as just far as visuals and content-wise. Well, I think content-wise, Super Mario 3D World is really good, but Mario Kart 8 just seems to take it to the next level. You have more characters, you have more unique things that you can do within the mechanics of the game. There's just so much stuff that Mario Kart 8 is, and it's obvious that they put more money and more time into Mario Kart 8. So
for the people, I don't really want to say his name, but there's a guy his initials are AS, and he used to be on a YouTube channel, and he just quit. But he said
I just gave it away there.
he said Nintendo doesn't know how to make games in HD, and that's been their problem. But you look at the games that they put out, and it looks like their games make it look like Sony or all the other game makers don't know how to make games in HD in comparison. That's how I feel about it.
You know, everybody has their opinion. You know, like I've been critical on that person before, but you know, it's just like, you know, sometimes people just say things just to say them. You know, like Adam. Adam is not a game developer. Okay,
No.
He doesn't know how to create games. He doesn't know how to program games. He doesn't know how to do anything when it comes to games. And I think that it's a little bit, you know, it's a little just, he thinks that since he's been in the industry for as long, it allows him to say certain things like that, as if he knows. He does not know. Okay, he doesn't know how to create a game in HD himself. Okay, everybody takes a little bit of time to learn how to create games in HD and learn how to do things in HD. And I think, you know, for the first year that, I mean, believe it or not, Nintendo Land is actually not a bad-looking game. It's just simplistic. No. For a launch title, it's actually a pretty good-looking game. It's 720p, crisp, native. It's 60 frames per second. You know,
colorful.
Yeah, colorful. The models look really good, and the game is really smooth. And you know, even with New Super Mario Bros.
I thought that game looked great.
Yeah, it's an okay. I mean, it's a lot more. I think Nintendo Land is more technical, definitely far more technical than that game, and they just had a little bit of a lack of games, you know, as far as at the beginning goes. And I think like Pikmin 3, you know, for basically a Wii game, you know, looks good too. So, I mean, it did take them a little bit of time, but for him to just go out and say, "Oh, they don't know how to make games in HD," that's just him talking. That's ridiculous. That's
yeah, like all the little details that they put in their games. They always have great lighting. Like their lighting engine and all the Wii U games are amazing. The little touches, and I got a friend I work with. He has a Wii U and he got it right before Pikmin 3 came out, and he was on the fence about getting it. And once he got it, he started pretty much talking like I was talking to him. He's like, there's all these little touches they put in these games that you don't see in a lot of other games. It's just the little details that really add and kind of enrich the whole experience.
And, you know, before we move on, I'll also add one more thing. Like, it's not like creating games in HD is, like, easy. It's not like it's something that where people, I mean, you look at these bums over at Konami. You know, you look at these bums. They couldn't even create a Metal Gear action game with their own IP. They couldn't even create an action game with their own IP. They had to quit, abandon it, and hand it off to Platinum Games, and so they could rush out a game, a 4-hour story game. I mean, it's still a great game, but they had to rush out a game and get this game out there. These bums couldn't even create an HD game in a different genre. I mean, all Konami can do is freaking Metal Gear. So,
and how long does it take for them to get Metal Gear Solid 5 out? Exactly. They had to put out that Ground Zeroes, that half-hour-long game, probably to help fund Phantom Pain, you know.
So I mean, to sit here and say that you know, oh, they don't know how to create games. Well, a lot of people don't know how to create games in HD. Then
I just think they have higher standards. They don't want to put out a game that doesn't have the seal of quality, if you will. You know.
Look at all the games that come broken. Look at do the guys at Rockstar do they know how to create HD games? I mean, do they know how to create online? Their online's broken. I mean,
especially online.
Oh God.
Does EA know how to create online games? Because their games are glitchy. Their games are broken. I mean,
Skyrim.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. But so I mean, they're gonna sit here and say Nintendo can't. What about these people that release games that, I mean, like Bethesda, where it doesn't work on day one? The PS3 version didn't work. I mean,
The Sims.
Yeah,
not the Sims. SimCity on PC didn't work.
SimCity. So, I mean, so if Nintendo can't create games in HD, lots of people can't create games in HD.
I know. It's like
I
don't mind calling out Nintendo for being late to the HD party.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But don't ignore all the other ones that are just as bad, if not worse. And that's the problem I've always had with any one person. Like, people have called you fanboys, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. They called you a fanboy, and your favorite system is the 360. It's like it makes no sense.
Well, the reason why they do that is to discredit anything that
They
I
try.
say. Yeah, like to try to discredit. Like it's if you call somebody a fanboy, that automatically says, oh well, whatever he says, it discredits them, and they won't. And like I said, like people on here or people on YouTube, I wouldn't trust anybody that doesn't source anything. If you talk about somebody else, okay, and you don't source, like if you take somebody's footage and you don't source it, and it's edited and it's cropped and cut.
Oh God, that pisses me off.
don't believe what they say. Don't believe what they say, because obviously they're wanting you to believe certain things. I mean, I have PS3. Valkyria Chronicles is one of my favorite games. If you look at all my videos, I have my Xbox 360, PS3, my Wii U all lined up. I mean, these days, fanboys, we should talk about that.
Can you see behind me there, that black rectangle? That's my PS3.
Yeah.
My 360 is right over there.
I was always under the impression that fanboys don't buy other consoles, don't play other games, and really just focus all their attention and all of their money and all of everything just praising a certain console. At least that growing up, that's what a fanboy was. But now these days, is if you say a lot of shouldn't be fired, you're a fanboy. If you like Nintendo or defend them sometimes, you're a fanboy.
If you like the Wii U, you're a fanboy.
If you like the Wii U or you think it does some things better than other systems, you're a fanboy. I mean, it's not even about what you play anymore.
I think, honestly, as soon as you can criticize your favorite company, like we're talking about, the Wii U need the improvements in that live stream you did last week, all the improvements the Wii U needs. If you can talk about that and be okay and say, yeah, the system needs improvements, you're not a fanboy. If you say the system's perfect, I know a guy is a big Sony fanboy. PS3 had no faults, and now the PS4 has no faults. He has no complaints about it. Battlefield 4, no complaints about it because he has the PS4 version, and that's a fanboy in my mind. Somebody who just blindly accepts everything that his favorite thing is and hates everything else. Like that's to me is a fanboy.
That's the big thing, Galactic Folk, which we'll get to in a bit as far as what you were growing up with a fanboy is. But that's the big thing to me. It's like it's when you hate other things, like when you. Personally, me, I have not went on one other video as far as Microsoft and Sony and ever just been started to spew hate.
Oh no!
I don't do that because I don't waste my time. There's people that come on my videos, that come on other people's videos and just hate. And I have a lot of problems that I have like with the Xbox One and other things, but I don't waste my time doing that. It's like, I'm not a fanboy. I don't care. It's like when they fix those issues, I'll buy the system. Till then, it's like whatever, like. So I mean, Galactic Field, growing up and where you were at, what was the whole fanboy scene as far as with your friends? What was your interpretation of a fanboy?
Well, a fanboy is pretty much a people who doesn't care about the company. They just criticize because they think that is the best thing. So if you have a Wii U, let's say there's another console that has like 40 games in their library, and they're pretty cool, and you have like 15 games, but you say, it doesn't matter, my 15 games are better than the other 40, so you need to start opening your mind and seeing what the other consoles offer and see what yours offer. So you say, yeah, my console is not the best one, so I really need to stop and to watch everything from a good perspective, and then like you need to buy the console if you like it, the games, but you don't need to criticize the other ones if you think that yours is better when you really know that yours is not better.
Exactly. Like if you don't own the other systems, if you've never played a PS3 or Xbox 360, then you have no right to make any complaints towards it. It's like I was saying, that same guy, he had all these complaints about the 360, but he never played one. It's like I told him, I said, I own all three systems, with the Wii 360 and the PS3. I said, who better to give the pros and cons and say, I don't ever say which one's better. I just tell what one excels at what area, this one excels at this area, and they all have great games. That's the one thing in common. They all have great games. Anyone that says otherwise is an idiot, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that the biggest problem I don't think it's a problem as far as like overall. If you look at certain sides of the YouTube, more of like where where we see stuff is that there's other people out there that are labeling, and I think it's the biggest thing is like labeling people, and not understanding where these people came from, not understanding what games they've played. And like I said, there's no way anybody can be labeled a fanboy if you have all the systems and if you play all the games. And if that's the case, then that's fine. If you want to label somebody a fanboy for playing all this, but when I was growing up as a kid, that's not what a fanboy was.
I'm a game fanboy. I like games, so I'm a fanboy of games.
That wasn't my interpretation. Like fanboys is like, oh, let me go spend $300 on a PS3. Yep, that's a fanboy. It's like, no, a fanboy would never do that. Like they would never, because that's money they can spend towards their system that they love the most. So personally for me, I'm just kind of waiting. For other stuff to come, but
better games.
Yeah, for the PS4, and I think the Wii U, since it did come out earlier, it's had more time to get a lot of great games, and a lot of good stuff. So, overall, I think that just anybody who watches, any of our stuff or reads the comments, I think it's pretty easy to discern when somebody's pulling some BS or not. I don't really worry about it too much, to be honest. I run a multi-platform site, so I wouldn't run a multi-platform site if I really just felt that Nintendo was the greatest thing in the world, because I don't. I really don't think. I just think that Nintendo makes great games, and I think the biggest thing that people also need to realize too is there's a difference between preference and bias. That's the thing there's a difference between preference and bias. That's the biggest thing that people don't understand. People blur those two, and they think if you have a preference for a certain console, you have a preference for a certain game, therefore that means you're biased, therefore that leads to fanboyism, which is completely false. Preference and bias are two completely different things. So I think people need to also read the definition of what bias is, which is unfair comparisons in an unfair way. Like me saying Mario Kart 8 is better than Killzone because Mario Kart 8 has racers and it's Nintendo. See, that's unfair. That is an unfair comparison. And I've never done anything that stupid before. At least I try not to do anything like that. I don't think I ever have. So if I have, well, sorry, but I don't think I've ever done anything like that. So that's what people need to realize. But overall, I think all of us Terminator, you do a good job of, like you said, just breaking down things, one by one, and just giving the pros and cons of each system, which I've done with the Wii U. I haven't really given my pros and cons with the PS4 and Xbox One because I don't care enough at this point to do that. But as far as with the Wii U, you guys I almost had a revolt from my users on my site. They were pretty mad at me when I. So.
Yeah, that's just ridiculous. And I try to stay away from all the YouTube drama. Like as soon as somebody uploads a video where they took somebody else's comments, like you said, and edited them in a way that made them sound like they said something they didn't, I unsubscribe from those people, and I just try to I just want to talk about games and have some fun, and I watch some PlayStation and Xbox videos because I like games. I wanna see what's coming on the horizon for all the systems and all types of games, and maybe that's just crazy, but I think that's the best way to be, and I think how could someone say anything negative about somebody that just wants to play great games, whatever system they're on, and draw no lines and say, I'll play it, great game, I'll buy a system for a great game no matter what brand it is, and that's just kind of how I am with just about everything consumer-wise.
Well, I think we've talked about this topic enough.
Yeah, I agree.
We've talked about this topic enough, so I guess we'll move on a little bit. We got quite a number of users in here, so I'm pretty sure they want to hear our E3 expectations. Yep. So we're kind of whittling this thing down a bit. Probably just to give the users, we haven't had any questions yet, so if you guys do have some questions, please let us know. We'll be happy to answer any of them. Galactic Philip, me, or Terminator. So here's the big thing, guys. We all know E3 is coming. I'm personally going to be going to E3. I might talk about this later as far as what's going on with the website, but I'm going to be going to E3, and I'm going to be getting a lot of interviews and stuff, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So the big thing this year is Nintendo's E3 plans. What is Nintendo doing at E3? First, let me get your impressions. You guys all know. I think everybody knows. I don't have to re-explain what's going on with Nintendo at E3. Galactic Filth, what are your impressions of Nintendo's E3 plans with their digital events, with their Smash Fest, and with their other stuff that's going on? What do you think about not having the live stage show?
I think it is not good from a perspective, but when you look at it and you know that pretty much online and the internet is the medium and the multimedia that only is the best one for video games, so you know that is the best way that the digital event and Smash Fest and at Best Buy you're going to get Smash Bros. So that is a huge thing because Best Buy in the United States is pretty big, so there is a lot of person that is going to go by the gaming lobby and they're going to watch Smash Bros. And they're going to see and play the game, interact with it, and they're going to convince themselves from the Wii U it's not cool, but this game looks cool, so what the people say that's
I think you're right. I think you're right about that. I'll be honest. I play basketball at the gym, and I talk to a lot of the youngsters. We're talking like 15, 17-year-olds. Those kids that can jump out of the gym. And none of them think the Wii U's cool, but they all think Smash Bros. And certain games are cool.
Call of Duty for life.
So true.
Well, I mean, it's true. I mean, a lot of the kids today, they didn't grow up in the age that we did. If you're older than 24, 25, a lot of the kids today, their first system was a PS3 or a 360. Their first system was that. And if your first system's a PS3 or 360, there's no way you think that Nintendo systems are cool. Like there's almost no way you do. You are an anomaly, or you are not with the normal trend. Whereas when we were growing up, Nintendo was cool. Even though Sega did their best to try to make it seem like they weren't. But what else as far as what else do you think about Nintendo and their plans, Galactic?
So I think Shin Megami Tensei Crossfire Random needs to be announced at this E3, at least a trailer gameplay, because we got that like almost a year and a half ago in 2013 in January. So I think it's time to see more of that game. I think they need to announce more games like from the other studios, like a new Zelda, maybe a new Star Fox, new F-Zero, and more indie games will be cool, but we need more AAA games, so I'm really expecting them to announce at least like 3 or 4 new big titles. At least announce them, give us some CG trailer or a gameplay trailer, which is the best option in my opinion. And the digital event, I think it can be as good as the presentation in the theater if they make it with people and live. Like we can see live reactions of people like shouting when a game goes on. It goes so crazy because we need that feeling from that to hype people. So that's a pretty good start if they do it live on a theater for many people.
I don't think they will. I'm not sure if they will. Yeah, I think it's going to be taped. I think where you might get that is the tournament.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean personally, which we'll talk about. I'll get to my predictions and stuff after Terminators, but I really think that they're going to announce the new Pokemon fighting game at that Smash Bros. Tournament. Like they're going to announce a new game, and that's where you're going to get like kind of like the live. It'll be. I don't know if it'll be taped. I don't know if they're streaming it live or taped. I'm not even sure how they're doing it. But I think that's where you're going to kind of get that excitement from. I think the digital event is going to be more like what they did with Mega 64, and what they did in 2010 with pre-taped, kind of like Nintendo just kind of being Nintendo. If you guys remember 2010, that was probably Nintendo's best E3 since 2004, and they did that stuff where Iwata was looking at the Mario mustache, and like they were showing off the 3DS stuff, and he was like running away, like trying to just show what 3D can do for gaming. and that was taped. That was obviously taped. It was not live. So it was kind of a fusion of the two. So I think it might be the other way around, where you have, you know, a lot of talking, and they're going to have some pre-taped stuff within that digital event. But I think overall it's going to be okay. But I'll talk about that in a little bit. Terminator, your thoughts, E3 plans. We'll talk about predictions in a little bit. But what are your thoughts on their? Because I'm not sure if I've heard exactly what you feel on Nintendo's E3 plans as far as what they're doing. Smash Fest, the tournament invitational, live streaming at E3. Don't forget that one, and their digital event. What is just your overall impressions?
Yeah, I've mentioned it real quick in one of my videos, but I've never really fully addressed it. I kind of wanted to. I was waiting for them to like put the schedule out of when the Smash tournament is in comparison to the digital event, if it's going to be the same day. So I'm just going to go without knowing those things. I think the Smash tournament is going to be great. I think, you know, it's 16 players. I'm guessing they're going to do it all within maybe an hour or two. I'm not sure how long that's going to take. But what would be really cool, a good idea, and I don't know if it happens, I'm going to guess it happens after the digital event. So what they can do for, if they don't show the digital event, like obviously it's going to be taped, but I think there should be somewhere in E3 where a big group of people can get to watch it, like on a big screen or something, almost working like a press conference, you know, because there will be a big group of people. Say the digital event starts at, what is it, noon or something, or it's
9 p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah, Pacific time. 9 a.m.
Noon your time.
Yeah.
Yeah, noon your time.
Like, okay, everyone, this is where it's going to be. We're going to have a big screen, and it can fit a couple hundred people, maybe more. I think they should do something like that for the people that are at E3. Like last year, the Direct, a lot of people, unless they watched it on their phones or a laptop in their hotel, it happened at pretty early in the morning last year. I think it was like at 6 a.m. or something ridiculous.
7 a.m. my time, I think.
Yeah.
Or something
So
like that.
the people at E3, well, they're out late the night before, and a lot of people didn't get up, and so not a lot of people who were at E3 saw the Nintendo Direct. So I think they need to make a big presence and a big deal about, okay, this is our digital event. This is where you can view it. Maybe have multiple areas in E3 where people can go view it as it airs live and have people reacting to in a group, you know, almost like a movie theater. You know, some comedies are better because everyone's laughing together. So I'm hoping they do something like that, and I really hope at the Smash tournament in between rounds they take that opportunity to show off like the trailers they show at the digital event for anyone that may have missed that. So people that are watching the Smash tournament, people that are there live, people online, show those game trailers in between the rounds and promote those games during the Smash tournament. Like you said, show off that Pokemon fighter game, and you know, that would be a perfect time. You're going to have a big audience watching that, and if they do that, I think it'll be great. I think the digital event, if they do it like the last 3 Directs with a little bit with the personality, have Iwata talk less and just show the games and have, you know, as much as I like Iwata, you're right. He struggles with the word sometimes, and you know, this E3, I know it's worldwide event, but you know, it's in North America. Let's just have him maybe come in, introduce, just like the Mario Kart 8 trailer or Direct. Come in, introduce himself, say, you know, this is our digital event, and then do what they did and have different segments featuring different people, Reggie, the Treehouse, and I think that would be great. And then the live from the Treehouse, like you said, it's going to be a way to just really show people, like, okay, here's a game demo, here's an interview with the developer. You know, it's going to be a lot more in-depth, and I think that's going to be a great way for people to see more of the game. And like last year, they did the developer directs, like individually for each game, and a lot of people didn't watch them because they were a separate thing. You had to like search them out to find them, and I think this Treehouse will solve that problem by just having it right there. People, anyone that tunes in, hopefully you can watch it on your Wii U, and it's easy to find a place to watch it, and you can see all the developer interviews and see the hands-on, like the demos of people playing it, and hopefully they will interview people in their showroom floor, like fans like yourself. Like if you're there, you're playing a game, if you get a chance to play one of the games, they interview the actual people and get their impressions. I think that's something that a lot of people don't like. IGN, they usually don't ask the fans right then and there. They give their own opinions. They don't ask the fans' opinion. They want to give their opinion. So I think that'd be cool. And then, of course, the Best Buy event, that's going to be awesome. Last year's was a little bit chaotic, but everyone there, I had I want to say 40 people at any given time at the Best Buy by my house. Everyone had their 3DSs out. It was a good street pass opportunity. I live in a small town kind of where there's not a lot of street passing going on, so lots of street pass and lots of people with the 3DSs exchanging friend codes. It was just a cool event, and I think with Smash, I think it's going to be even bigger. And I think I have no problems with any of their plans. I don't miss a press conference at all because, like you said, it's really awkward at times. It's hard to watch those. Anyone who thinks those are fun to watch, and I don't know what to say because those things are awkward, and I watch them after the fact, and I always skip through because it's just hard to sit there and listen.
I'll tell you one thing, dude. I'll tell you one thing about the press conference. I'm telling you, the media hypes these press conferences up.
Mm-hmm.
If the media didn't hype these press conferences up, people would not be anywhere near as excited for them. They get hyped because the media tells you to get hyped about them, because the media says these are what the big ticket thing is. But really, everybody knows after the press conferences are done, that's when the show really gets started. That's when it's really actually games. I would love to see, they'll never release them, but I would love to see IGN's numbers based on the streaming of the press conferences compared to the actual games being shown, their live shows. And I can guarantee you they make more money and more hits talking about the actual games than they do showing the replays of the press conferences and stuff like that. Because like I said, IGN would do insane traffic. GameSpot, they do insane traffic from these live shows of these games because they're actually set up pretty well.
Yeah, I enjoy them.
Yeah, they're pretty enjoyable, even though, I don't really like IGN as much as I used to, but they're still pretty enjoyable. So the media tells you to get hyped for these. The media tells you, of course, you have like Viacom and the people who stream Microsoft's press conference. And like I said, I don't remember does anybody even remember any good press conferences from the mid 2000s? Can anything tell you like, oh my God, I remember that press conference in 2007 where Microsoft announced this or that Sony announced. Nobody remembers anything. Like the
Twilight Princess trailer was the only thing I remember from the last 12 years.
I just remember the bad stuff. That's all I remember. I remember Usher. I remember Ringo Starr. I remember Connectimals. I remember people getting on stage and playing fake football.
Wii Music.
Wii Music. I remember Ridge Racer. I remember Giant Enemy Crab. I remember stupid Warhawk guy that was playing Warhawk like this. I remember the fat black dude that was playing some Sony game that ended up getting canceled and he kept on saying, "Where you going?" What? He was just like a creeper. Like I
don't remember that.
Oh, you don't remember that guy? He was like a creepy black dude on stage. It was just like it's a horrible game. It ended up getting canceled by Sony. I don't remember anything good from these press conferences.
Your first impressions were pretty bad.
I do remember some of the cool things. Like I remember Nintendo's 2010 E3. I remember I'm trying to think of something that's good from Microsoft and Sony's, but honestly, I don't remember anything that was just awesome. I remember what Sony did last year because they showed up Microsoft, but I mean, I'll be honest, like I said, this is just my personal preference. These press conferences are whack. And I've been saying this for a while now. These press conferences are whack, and the media tells you to get hyped for them, and they're whack. They're just not very good. They focus on entertainment. They focus on, like I said, Usher has no business at E3 doing a live show. Absolutely no business there. And anybody who thinks otherwise just needs to just stop.
Who's the chick that does the Ubisoft? She's like the host, Tisha or something. Aisha. I can't watch that.
Yeah, no business. And I said in my live stream the other day, I was like, I have John Bones Jones. I don't want to see you, bro. Like, I don't want to see you at E3, bro. I don't want to see your stupid title. That's great. You're a great champ. Like I said, he's my favorite. He's my favorite MMA fighter. I don't want to see you at E3, bro. I don't want to
No.
see Kobe at E3.
No.
I don't want to see Kyrie Irving was at E3. Nobody even knows who Kyrie Irving is. You got to be a hardcore basketball fan to actually like Kyrie Irving. Like, they brought Kyrie Irving in there last year. Like, Kyrie Irving, he didn't even know what was going on. Like, I can't stand these basketball players who don't play games, that don't know anything. These athletes that are just coming up there just to be just, hey, look, there's this guy here. I can't stand that stuff. That has nothing to do with the actual games, and I'm sick of it. You know, I'm sick of these pre-rendered trailers. You know,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sick of these BS and stuff that these press conferences do in order to gather the media hype. I can't stand it. Like, I remember people talking like EA had a great press conference because they showed a pre-rendered teaser trailer
Mirror's Edge.
for Mirror's Edge and for Battle. I'm like, Star Wars. I'm like, how? Like, this is ridiculous. People, and I'm telling you, there were Nintendo fans saying this.
I know. It's just what that video I made, was it last video, where I talked about how a lot of these other studios show these pre-rendered trailers, or they show these games running on top-end PCs for their first reveal, and Nintendo shows you what they have currently, the state the game's in on the Wii U, and then it gets better. The next time you see it, it looks better. But when a lot of these other games, when you finally see the real game, it's a disappointment. It's less than I mean, that's probably another fanboy comment, but I think Nintendo does it the right way. They show the game in its real state, and the next time you see it, it looks better. And
I don't really think you can label it as a fanboy comment if it's just like I said. It's just your opinion. If you
it's my opinion.
On that. I mean, you're right. They show something and it does not look as good. Watch Dogs is a perfect example of that. They show Watch Dogs, and even people who are Microsoft and Sony fans, they said, yes, this does not look as good as what they showed afterwards. So it actually got worse looking than it did from when they first showed it at E3. You're right. There's proof. It has nothing to do with being
Madden 14?
Madden,
or whatever, 25, whatever it was.
Let's go back to Madden 06.
Oh, God.
we don't even have to go Madden 14. Let's go back to Madden 06 when they showed that first pre-rendered, or they showed the target.
Yeah, with the Eagles or something.
Eagles and Giants. And it did not look. I'm not even sure if they've even matched that at this point. You know, So, you know, I'm not these E3 press conferences, man. I'm not down with them. I don't think that they're great. I think Nintendo's digital event. I'm just getting to my opinion of it. I think Nintendo's digital event. I just think it was too short, you know, and it was just kind of like not long enough. There wasn't enough content within that E3, that direct. But I think that they've nailed the format now. I really think that they know what works to this point, you know. And you're right with getting Iwata out of there, or just having them announce it, and then, like, you know, show the actual games and have the clips and have the Treehouse team, you know.
Yeah, have more than just the trailer. Like have some gameplay and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Have some gameplay. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna move on to predictions. We're going to move on to what we expect, and we're going to move on to predictions. So we're in the last half here. So Galactic Filth, what do you think about Nintendo's E3 as far as what are your predictions for Nintendo at this year's E3? And it can be as crazy as you want it to be.
Okay. As of right now, you see that Microsoft is not giving a lot of love to Rareware, so as crazy as it gets, I would really want them to buy Rareware back because...
Whoa. Nintendo predictions. Nintendo predictions.
He wants Nintendo to buy Rare back, is what he's saying. That is out there.
Whoa, it was so out there, I thought you were talking about Microsoft.
No, I want to send them back.
They're going to announce they bought him a Rareware back. That would be big.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
I want to buy Sega Sammy so we can get Atlas.
Okay. Do you have any other predictions as far as games related?
The pretty big games come from those two companies, so...
I think he's freezing up there.
Yeah, he's kind of freezing up a little bit. Well, Terminator, that's okay. We'll move on. We'll get back to Terminator once he gets this thing situated.
Okay. What I'm expecting is obviously Zelda. I think they've pretty much just really the only game they've truly confirmed will be there. Other than we'll see some form of Bayonetta 2 demo probably on the showroom floor, but this compared to last year where they told us pretty much laid out every game was going to be there except for Donkey Kong, and so almost every game was expected. This year they've said Zelda will be there, and that's pretty much it. They've been a lot more hush-hush. Hopefully it's because they have some really great, really big announcements, and they didn't want to spoil them, and hopefully it's not because they don't have anything else coming in 2014 or early 2015. They don't want to. They just wait till next year's E3. So I'm hoping that obviously Zelda U, great. I'm hoping for a long demo. See a lot of the mechanics. Other than that, Shinen's either Fast Racing Neo, which they were supposedly gonna talk about months ago, and the fact that it went quiet tells me that maybe Nintendo wants that to be something that they show at their digital event or something. Maybe it looks good enough that Nintendo said, yeah, we want that game part of our digital event. Or here's prediction number one: they saw what they were doing and said, how would you guys like to make an F-Zero game? And gave that to Shinen. So that's pretty much my boldest prediction that I'm gonna make. I don't know how much chances there are of that, but I'd really like to see Fast Racing Neo be part of their event. And other than that, I mean, they got, like you said, the Pokemon Fighter would be huge. That would be a huge reveal. And obviously more X, and maybe like Galactic said, a trailer for the Fire Emblem Cross Shinema Tensei, or so show us something there. They have to fill that out. Hopefully that they got at least like an hour plus presentation, and hopefully there's some really big surprises. Maybe a Metroid game. I'd really like to see it. I don't care if it's 2D or 3D. And obviously they're going to show 3DS stuff too. There's some 3DS games that there has to be some surprises because there's not much as far as the rest of this year after Smash. So they'll show some 3DS games, but a bold prediction. It's not that bold now that we know. It was one of my bold predictions until I saw that video where they're showing the quick boot for the OS for booting directly into a game. I was going to predict that they were going to have a big revision for the operating system, but I've changed my tune. They're showing us that quick boot's going to be ready for June. I think that's really the only OS improvement they're going to have for the Wii U for this year, which is kind of a shame. But like you said, let's get the games, let's get some great games out and worry about some minor, they could add like some of the join game or cross chat later on. It doesn't have to be like announced at E3, as long as somebody's working on it and we eventually get it. I think that'd be okay. But yeah, I was gonna predict there was gonna be a huge version 2 for the operating system, but I think that's not gonna happen now. So
yeah. I don't think it's gonna happen either, especially after this whole press conf or this investor meeting and all the stuff that they're doing. It's obvious where their focus is, and it's not on their operating system.
Exactly.
It's just on getting games. And one of my users actually kind of beat a little bit of sense into me, and he's like, "Well, Francis, I understand where you're coming from, but at the same point, you got to look at what's more important. You know how slow Nintendo is. Nintendo only has 5,000 employees. And like he was just telling me, he's like, look, I understand, you want these things, but you also have to look at it at what's the most important. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Games are most important, and I'm just gonna have to put aside my own personal, wantings for like the greater, like they do need more games. Games are the most important. At this point, that's what they need the most. You can worry about the operating system and stuff in the fall, maybe after Smash Bros, maybe like a December update.
And they did say, though, at that same meeting that they were going to have quite a few games that only worked with the gamepad. So I expect a couple completely out of the games we had no idea were coming to be announced in that regard that will use the gamepad. I'd like to see them say GameCube games are coming. They said the DS games are coming soon, probably in June. They had GBA games that was hit in April, and then I think they're going to try to have a month set aside for, let's say, DS games. The month of June will be all DS games. Every Thursday will be DS games, and then hopefully GameCube and potentially Dreamcast would be great for the future. There's not a ton of GameCube games that I think people really want. I think people would rather have new versions. But if they brought like F-Zero GX or some of these games as a test to see how popular that series still might be, So yeah, I think they'll focus on the Virtual Console. There's been pretty much since April been given a lot more games to the on the eShop for the Virtual Console. I think they'll make that a focus as well. So that's it for my thoughts and predictions. I'd love to see a Wave Race, one of my favorite franchises from the N64. I'd love to see a new Wave Race game, but I don't know if that's something that they would put money into.
Especially with that one developer, Zordix, they're busting their butt right now to basically make a Wave Race for the Wii U, and I know Nintendo's been talking to them about that game. It's not a real Wave Race. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. It's not, but it's called Aqua Motos Racing, something.
Spiritual successor.
Yeah,
inspired by.
Yeah, Nintendo's been talking to them about this game, and they wanted to put it on the Wii U. They said, "Oh, this is going to be in 1080p. We're going to have a whole new graphics, physics engine. This is not just going to be some cheap downloadable title." Zordix usually makes those type of smaller type titles, but this one they're taking their time. They've been working on it since last year. I was talking to them about this game back at the end of July or something like that. So they've been really pounding away at this game, and they want it to kind of be like fill that Wave Race gap. So that's probably what people are going to.
What's that called again?
It's called Aqua Moto Racing something.
Okay.
Look into it. I have some stuff on Playeressence about it, but I'm just kind of wrapping things up here with my impressions before we kind of swing back to Phil. Maybe he can end off with his, and then we'll do a little sign off. But personally, my predictions is like. One, we're going to see Zelda. What I expected, we're going to see Zelda. I think we're going to see, of course, brand new character reveals for Smash Bros. So we're finally going to get the character reveals for Smash Bros. The whole roster, or most of it at least. So that's going to be really cool. I think we're also going to see a number of games that can use the Wii U gamepad. A number of games, whether they're quick downloadable eShop games, whether they're mini game collections. We're going to see a lot of that type of stuff, NFC figurine-based games, stuff like that. I also think that we're finally going to get the name for Monolith Soft's X. Finally, we're finally going to get a name, and we're going to figure out where this game takes place, what time it's in. Is it a real sequel to Xenoblade? We're going to find out the specifics of this game because they are being so tight-lipped about this stuff. So I think we're finally going to see more on that game. Bayonetta 2 is going to get release dates. Monolith Soft X is going to get release month. Hyrule Warriors, we're going to see more of a full reveal on that game. That game is going to get dated.
Sonic Boom, I forgot to mention that.
Oh, yes. Sonic Boom, definitely going to get dated.
I'm sure they'll have a reveal. Hopefully it'll be during Nintendo's. Like, it will be Nintendo doing it since it's an exclusive game. I hope they give it a good amount of attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree there. Sega usually likes to do their own thing with Sonic,
Yeah, that's true.
They do, but, I mean, they could. I mean, last year they said, hey, well, they let Nintendo do that pre-E3 Direct where they showed off, where they announced Sonic Lost World. So, Sega did their own thing, with Sonic Boom revealing that. So we'll see what they do with that. Hopefully they show more. Hopefully we get details as far as the co-op play and as far as more just seeing off the game or just seeing the game in general. I think we're going to get a couple new franchises from, new IPs from some of Nintendo studios. I think Retro Studios is either they're working on a new IP or they're working on something, or they're working on Metroid. I think those are my two things. I don't think they're going to work on any other franchise. And I think that Next Level Games has something in store for us, and in the vein of a new IP. I think it's in the vein of a AAA or AA type game, like Punch-Out. Not plays like Punch-Out, but that type of quality of Punch-Out.
Bringing back an old franchise.
Yeah. Either bringing back an old franchise or they're going to work on something completely new. But it's going to be a great game, but it's going to be something that's kind of like quick, easy to get into, really colorful, nice graphics. Clean look, just kind of like Punch-Out was. As far as my big bold predictions go, I think that we're going to see Golden Sun back in some way, whether it's a 3DS title or whether it's a Wii U title. We're going to see Golden Sun back, and I really think that the big thing is going to be Zelda is going to have some type of form of multiplayer. So it's going to be some type of co-op or some type of online rating mode or some type of thing. I think they're going to announce some type of co-op or some type of multiplayer for Zelda. And I think it's going to be a big departure from what we usually see with Zelda. It's going to be similar, but at the same time, completely different, kind of like Mario Kart at times, you know, with the anti-gravity. They're gonna reveal some new mechanics and stuff. So that's kind of how I feel. That's kind of like my predictions and what I think.
There'll be voice acting?
Oh. Yes, limited. Okay. Very limited voice acting, but I think that they're going to. I don't think you can make a game at this point without voice acting.
I know, because the story of Skyward Sword was the best I thought in the series, but it's just it would have been even better with some really good voice actors. I think.
I don't care if they don't do Link. You know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't care if they don't do Link, but I mean, because lots of games have silent protagonists.
Dead Space.
Skyrim. Yeah, Skyrim does. Fallout. Most of those games that are like that. There's a lot of silent protagonists in games. So, but I think Dead Space 2. I think he talked.
They did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but Dead Space 1, which was, in my opinion, better. He didn't talk at all. So there's nothing wrong with the silent protagonist. There's nothing wrong with that. I think we're going to see some pretty crazy stuff from Nintendo. And also a couple more things that I want to talk about is I think Nintendo is also Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem. We're going to get a good reveal on that game, and we're also going to get 2015 titles too. So it's not just going to be 2014. I think we're going to get a good slew of 2015 titles, which Zelda, Shin Megami Tensei, and I think Yarn Yoshi are all 2015 titles. Plus we're going to get like a tease, new IP. And speaking of new IP, we're finally going to see Miyamoto's new IP that he's been working on. Yeah, that he's been working on for quite some time now. So I think, and I think that's separate from the whole NFC stuff. You know, I think this is his game that he's working on. That's separate from the NFC stuff. So it's going to be, something kind of pretty cool. So those are my predictions. Those are my thoughts. I'll have another video with more in depth and detail than it is right now at this point. But Galactic Filth, do you have any more things that you want to add to that? Because you got cut off. So as far as your predictions go, is there anything else you want to add to
that? To be honest, you pretty much said everything I was talking about. Thinking about, I was like, oh, he must like the Shigeru Miyamoto new IP. But right now, you pretty much covered everything.
Do you have any like as far as hopes? Like, do you have a genre what genre do you think that this IP is in for Miyamoto? What do you think it is?
I think it is like maybe like an RPG shooter or maybe just a plain FPS. But
please, please let it be an RPG shooter. I would love that. I like your prediction. I really hope. I mean, I'm a huge Mass Effect fan. And I would really like an RPG / shooter / like Destiny, like where you can use like different types of powers like from your hands and stuff. Like that would be awesome.
I think it might be along something in the creation type genre, like a Minecraft or a Project Spark type of full creation to the player type of thing.
I don't know, man. I don't think can people handle that style of game?
I don't know.
That's just too much Miyamoto's creation. It was just like, I'm not sure
I don't know,
can handle that.
That would be crazy. I don't know. I think he creates some pretty cool stuff, so maybe he wouldn't leave it in the hands of the player. Maybe it's going to be something unique, though. That's Pikmin. What I would say.
Who would think of ever creating something like Pikmin? Like, never in my wildest dreams did I ever think of like some little dude as small as the other dudes. He's ordering around.
They could easily kill him.
Yeah, they could easily just kill him. He has no combat abilities other than a stupid whistle that he uses to get other people to
And it's an addicting and fun game that it's hard to put down once you start playing.
Yeah, I would never even think of Pikmin. I remember when I first saw Pikmin, I thought it was the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was like, what is this? Like, but it's a good game. It's great. So I mean, Miyamoto, you're right. He could make something completely crazy that nobody, which people don't even give him credit for picking it. A lot of people don't even. They don't even. He gets no credit for that game, just because some people don't like the aesthetics of it, I guess. But overall, it's going to be interesting. I think E3 is it's going to be exciting this year, and I think the best part about E3, what Nintendo's doing, it's really for the fans, and it really makes guys like me, one-man team. It makes me be able. I can cover this E3, and if you wanted to cover it yourself, Terminator, you can cover it yourself. Everybody. There's no more exclusives and bias, that comes with the behind the closed doors stuff and all that junk, and the live streaming. If you don't like IGN's live streaming, or if you don't like GameSpot, well, you know what, you can watch Nintendo's official live streaming, So, and I can tell you right now, these companies don't like that. These companies do not like that at all. That's
IGN and Rev3 Games. That's where they make their money, and Nintendo's giving it directly to us. I could see why they'd be a little upset, but
they're salty. They're
taking out the. They give us the news, the info without that snarky comment at the end of the paragraph. To discredit the Wii U's only sold this many consoles at the pointless information to throw it in a negative spin at the end. So we'll be free of that. We'll be free of that. But I just want to say, closing on E3, this will be kind of a prediction. 2 years from now, people will be looking back, and Sony and Microsoft won't be having press conferences. The new standard will be some kind of pre-recorded and Best Buy experience and their own live demos and stuff. I think Nintendo's doing something that's going to be the standard in 2-3 years from now, and people be probably give them no credit for it. But looking back, I think this is the start of what E3 is going to become. So that's kind of I don't know if that'll ever happen, but that's kind of my feelings.
If this is successful, then I could see that happening. But the one thing, ending, the one thing that I'm a little worried about as far as the gaming community, some of the gaming community here, is why isn't anybody saying, Microsoft and Sony, why aren't they giving us demos, or why aren't they having a tournament for us? Why isn't anybody saying that? Everybody's like, well, there's no press conference for me to watch.
On my computer, sitting at my home. What does it matter how I...
What I don't understand is, gamers, it's wouldn't you rather have a company give you games to actually play? Don't you want to play, Uncharted 4 or something? Or, don't you want to have an opportunity to play the next God of War? Is there a reason why you're not, asking...
Sony to do that?
And Sony and Mike. Why is it just about a stage show? Because, like I said, a lot of these people, it's more about drama than it is the actual games. And to me, that's the whole thing. It's about drama. Because people are bashing one thing when you're not a real fan, because otherwise you'd be like, well, I'm going to go play Smash Bros. You're not going to sit here and say, oh, I'd rather watch Usher on stage. Or watch them play fake football. Or watch some execs say, we have the best games. And then here's the game. You would want to play the game. So... That's the one thing that I'm a little upset about. It's become about theatrics. It's become about drama. It's not about the actual games or seeing the games, because in my opinion, this is the fastest format to get you those games. It may not be the most dramatic. It may not be the most entertaining, or cool, or it's not as the live experience, but at the same time, it's the fastest, and it's the most convenient for you, and it's also the most streamlined, and it's the best for gamers, in my opinion, because you actually get to play some of the games that all of us get to play, and you get the live streams direct from the source. So that's just my opinion on the whole thing. Glad you have anything you want to sign out with before we're done here?
Just a little thing to throw there. I think we're going to see a new Fire Emblem from Intelligent Systems, because it's a new world. It's different from. Yeah, that's the mentality. I really want to see that.
Yes. I love Fire Emblem Awakening, but do not get me started on Fire Emblem Awakening.
No, like I said earlier, we're already at an hour and 40 minutes. So.
Yeah, we're already at an hour and 40. So
now I know why podcasts go so long when you have multiple people. I could talk to you guys all day.
Yeah, we could, but we all have lives to do and stuff. It's Mother's Day
weekend.
Mother's Day weekend, so I'm definitely gonna spend some time with my mom today, and so yeah. So anyway, that basically wraps it up for this one, guys. Thank you for everybody for joining. I really appreciate it. Terminator Juice. Make sure you check out his channel. Really good stuff. Galactic Filth from the PE community. Thank you for coming on, man. You had some really good insight. I really appreciate you coming on, and we'll probably, if it looks like people like this, because I've had quite a number of viewers in here, so we're probably going to be doing this again. Whether it's on a weekly basis, I'm not sure. I'll talk to Terminator about this, and I'll talk to other members. And if you guys like this format, please make sure you let me know. I think this is a good format because you guys get to watch it live, plus you guys can watch the replay if you miss something instead of just waiting for me to upload it, me being super tired, uploading it at 1 a.m. or whatever it gets uploaded at. You guys can watch it live and watch it during the day and stuff. So I think this format is good, and I really want to thank Terminator for coming up with this idea because honestly, this was his idea. It was not my idea to do a live Playeressence Cross Nintendo. It was his idea to do this, so he gets the credit for that. And I'm looking, Terminator, man, to bring you back if you're willing to.
Yeah, I mean, this, like I said, I could talk to you all day. This is really cool. Maybe get a representative of somebody that's preferences Sony, somebody with preferences Microsoft, maybe have a pre-E3 discussion when it gets a little bit closer, talk more in depth about the other companies, what they hope to see, and as a Sony fan, what they think about Nintendo's plans, and maybe get a little more, try to find people that are level-headed and open-minded, and I think it'd be really cool.
I've tried to recruit, but the problem is that, like, I have other people saying stuff about me, and the other people stay away from me without even giving me a chance to talk to them.
I hear you.
Yeah, so I mean, it's tough when I try to get a Sony guy on or when I try to get a Microsoft guy on, and the first thing is, well, this person said this about you, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like.
Yeah, if there's gonna be drama, then forget it. I mean, I'll come back on for any type of discussion you want to do. Just let me know and.
Yeah, so I mean, I've tried to get Sony guys, but they're so, I mean, some of them that are the ones that I know, they're just, they won't talk to me. I message them, they don't want to talk back to me or anything, so as if like I shot them or something, or I did something mean to them personally. I didn't do anything to them, but whatever. But yeah, you're right. Definitely try to get some people on for an E3 discussion that are that like Microsoft. And so now I'll try to see what I can do. But anyway, that basically wraps it up for the show. Thanks everybody for joining us. Make sure you check out Playeressence.com. It will be a little bit slower this week because, of course, I have my daughter and Mother's Day. For my fiance, she's a mom, of course, so we're gonna be doing plenty of stuff, and then with my mom here, so yeah, so it might be a little bit slower, but there still will be some updates. But thanks everybody for joining. I really appreciate it, and just make sure you check out Playeressence.com and keep on tuning in, and we'll have plenty of good stuff leading up to E3. All right, then, guys, take it easy. Peace.